Welcome to the Woman of the Year podcast series. Our guests today are two incredibly dynamic women. They are the finalists in the Women in Visual Arts segment of the Woman of the Year Awards program 2025. Thajba Najeeb, who actually won the award, and the first nominee, who came a very, very close second, who is Rand Alkishtaini. Thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Thank you for having us. Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.
I'm going to start off with a group question to both of you. How do you see your work influencing cultural and societal conversations within Bahrain?
Actually, I've never seen my work spark any discussions. Well, I've never actually wanted for it to spark some kind of discussion. It's because it's such an organic process, and the result is usually organic. So the conversations are never required. It just somehow sparks by itself. And those conversations are usually related to like personal, creating personal narratives. So when you're looking at that and then you relate it to society, then there's a link that comes between that.
In my case, as being an artistic designer, usually I try to bridge the work with the art, with the culture, with the story that I want to blend with the art all together to create like a storytelling concept with all the details. If we're using visual art, sculpture, the structure of the designs. So I try always to blend them together to bring a story that touches the society, the culture, the concept that I want to emphasize on.
I'm going to start off with a personal question now for Thajba. Your work often explores memory and identity. Can you share a piece that maybe challenged your creativity, you felt?
Every piece challenges something in you, especially when you're creating something so personal and something so fresh. So when you're creating something unique and an original piece of work, the amount of time and effort that you put into it is the challenge in itself. When I launched my most recent collection, it was a very personal moment in my life, and trying to get out of that moment, it took me a year to come back to work. But when somehow I woke up one morning and I just let it go, just good music, I got into that moment. I think that's when I created it's a very personal piece, and have not had the heart to exhibit it because it's so personal. It's just in my house right now. So I think that was my most challenging piece of the current collection. It was piece number one. But then after that, the rest of the 11 just came out so beautifully.
Rand, your visual style is seen as being quite bold and thought-provoking. Can you tell us a little about a project that maybe made you panic, that you felt out of your comfort zone, for instance?
One time I participated in an art exhibition, and the theme was black and white. And I was known with using vibrant color.
So you made it many shades of black and white.
Exactly. I did a lot of patterns and tried to make it different because there was a lack of color there. Also, it happened with me once when designing an artistic piece. I got a dry stem of cactus. A friend of mine gifted to me. He said, "You're crazy, you're gonna do something out of it." And I kept it for a couple of months on my door, looking at it in and out. And I was trying to get something out of it because I want to keep it as organic as it is and to make it functional.
Right.
So I came to an idea after a couple of months to create table lamps by using these stems as a shade for the table lamps and put an LED light. So that was really a challenging, and it took me a really long time to create something that was not an easy thing that didn't come within a couple of days. It took me like a couple of months to create it.
Both of you, what advice would you give young developing artists in now the evolving creative landscape? Because there's lots of media as well people get involved with, especially with AI involvement, etc. Is there any place for that in your particular line of work? And would you recommend it to them or not?
Of course I would recommend it. There's a big disconnect between knowing what's out there and what they can pursue. We need to raise awareness for that. So for the young, inspiring artist, you have to be persistent. they want you to be in this box. And that box, we're so far beyond that box. Like, I live there. So like we can't do that with the creatives.
Absolutely right.
Yeah.
I always agree with you 100% as well. I always advise them to create their own signature in designs or art or anything. Never follow trends, because you have to be yourself when you create any kind of art. Maybe in the beginning you will find really a resistance, and maybe people will reject it and they will not accept it, but it's okay. Develop yourself, keep learning. I always advise people to keep learning, even from different people that has different thoughts and different schools of art. Never mind, learn to develop yourself. By the end, you're gonna learn something and you're gonna create your own signature in everything you do.
Who are both of your biggest inspirations in your industry and your creative outlook? Who's inspired you the most?
When I was growing up, I loved, there's an Austrian artist by the name of Gustav Klimt. He's always been my go-to for anything. Like, anytime I've been in a block or I haven't been able to visualize something, I think going through his work just gives me a vision that I can go forward with. When you're learning something new, it's great to learn as a technique study, like you're really learning the skill. But when you develop your own unique style, your inspiration automatically kicks in. Like, there are certain aspects you'll remember and then you'll develop it. And that only happens like that, through trial and error.
Nowadays, as I'm doing this artistic design, which is a combination of so many designers and artists in the same time, because I feel art, as visual art, is a way to express my feeling. It has no rules, it has no right or wrong. Maybe I'm mistaken, but this is my feeling about when I do a visual art.
100%, 100%.
Yes.
It's like you go into it with your hands and your feet and your painting, and everything is just a
There's
raw
no
emotion. Yeah,
no right
100%.
and wrong.
Yeah.
So it's just an inspiration, a language that you express to other people.
Thajba, how do you balance conceptual depth with visual appeal?
I am a sketchbook maniac, and with over like 100,000 sketchbooks at home, that's where my concepts start from. So even after painting for so many years, I always start with a pen and a paper, and I always go back to writing my concept first. And then before you know it, you create a piece. But when towards the end of a piece, I usually sit and I look at it for days and days, and I look at it and I'm waiting for her to tell me, are you done? What needs to work on? What do I need to work on? You know, just certain things. And then somehow your work just tells you that, halas, like you're done.
So there's some which are still ongoing?
There's
which you
still
started
some that
years
have
ago?
been like, I'm angry with them. So they're just sitting at the studio, and there's probably 2, 3 of them right now. They're wrapped up, and I will look at them when when the time comes.
Do you actively market your art, or do you wait for someone to make you an offer you can't refuse? Or what's the process with both of you?
I am the worst person when it comes to marketing my art. I would not even know where to start. Someone asks me to speak about my art, I'm like, nothing comes out. Ask me to speak about something else, I'll be like, blah, 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 blah. But in terms of marketing, I'm really bad at it. When I finally get the guts to do it, I will send it out and be like, hey, so this happened. You know, I've been disappeared for some time, and it sort of works out like that. But I don't think creatives can market themselves. Like,
it is the hardest part.
It's the hardest thing to do.
You cannot be creative and businesswoman. You know, I feel you cannot.
Yeah.
Because you're
It's
focusing on
difficult.
something, you need somebody to do all the other logistics
That's
for
why
you.
we need curators,
Yes.
you know? Yeah.
Yes.
That's why we need curators to push us and be like, hey, you have a deadline to create X amount of pieces. Otherwise, we're in la la land a lot of times, and it's a nice place to be,
It
you
is
know?
actually,
Yes.
yeah.
Usually, art is very moody. And I think moodiness with business does not work together. So I think that's why we need somebody to guide us and say, awake, now that's all right to take a nap, just go and focus. I totally agree with you, because I struggle the same. I have so many creative ideas, and I need to just put it in practice, and I need somebody just to put it on the right track. So I think many designers and artists, they need that.
How do you balance innovation personal expression, and audience engagement in your work?
Well, while creating out-of-the-box designs, I always aim that. I try to do some design that I've never seen before and people never seen before. It's a really true challenge because some people, they might not accept it and they might not refuse it and they don't understand it because it's something different. But by creating this argument, because people, when they see, for example, a table lamp, which the shade is not a traditional shade from the top, it becomes from the bottom, they will ask why the shade is in the bottom, not in the top. So by creating these questions, you're creating a dialogue. So by the name, even the name that you choose for your design, also will create a curiosity by the audience to ask you, why did you choose this name? What does it mean? What does it hold? So by doing this point, you're triggering questions from the audience to create a dialogue between the piece and the audience.
Has audience interpretation ever surprised you, confused you, or angered you?
I don't think it's ever angered me. No, I lie. It has.
Aha!
It
Gotcha.
has. I once did exhibit a piece of work, and this art collector had come in to see the piece before the showing. He said something along the lines of, "My child can do better than this."
Oh my God.
And he stormed out of the warehouse, and it angered me, but then I loved his honesty.
I'm on the edge now. Can you tell me what his response was?
So his response was, actually, I was having a really bad day. I just broke up with my girlfriend. And
I knew it. I was going to say his wife upset him.
yeah.
Exactly.
He said, I just broke it up with my girlfriend and nothing was appealing. And I was like, wow, you took it out of me? And he was like, it was just too vibrant. And he was like, I was in such a bad mood. And then he sent me a box of mangoes and flowers. So that was great.
So sweet of him.
Yeah.
Ladies, you're both prominent in your field and you've been nominated and you've won the Women in Visual Arts Woman of the Year Awards 2025. What does that mean to you both?
Do you want to go ahead?
You're the
Should
winner.
I? Thank you. Well, the recognition feels overwhelming because before I knew it, my students were posting and everyone was like, oh my God, my Miss T's the Woman of the Year, you know, and they're like kids, 6th graders, my 10th graders, 11th, 12th graders, like all of them, they were more excited about it than I was. The recognition, I feel, has given me a broader audience in terms of Bahrain as well, that like, I feel recognized, and it's a nice feeling to feel like that, you know, that like, oh my God, I actually did it, you know, I can do this again and again, and I think that's a nice feeling. It's a nice hop in that step, you know.
And Rand is a very, very close finalist.
But I'm
as well
happy
to the-
for Shad because she really deserves it. I'm really happy for her. She's more experienced. I have to admit that she's more experienced than me in this part, and I'm really happy for her. And for me, when I got the message that you got nominated, it was like, oh, really? And I just let it go. And the next day they called me that you've been selected and nominated. It's like, wow, thank you. Who nominated me? It was a really nice surprise to get recognized without you know. It's really a nice surprise. So something among Bahrain, that's really a pleasure.
Very beautiful feeling.
Exactly. It's a pleasure.
So that's the end of another fascinating interview for the Woman of the Year Awards podcast 2025. Look to see who's coming next on your dial. Click the link.